All right, good afternoon. How are you? Looks like, yeah, Juan, you're there. Um, so
Oh,
go
I'm
ahead
sorry. Now
and
can you
open
hear
up your,
me?
yep, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and get started. It should be a brief video. There's not too much to this course as far as understanding it. There's certainly work to do, but it's pretty straightforward. Um, but let me go ahead and address your first question. The reason why there are past due dates posted and everything says late and all of that. Don't worry about that. Ignore the due dates. There are no due dates in this course. Uh,
Okay.
Ultra is fairly new and they still haven't updated an element for competency-based courses. So since there are no due dates, any calculation that I create won't be calculated. So if an assignment doesn't have a due date, or if the due date is sometime in the future,
Right.
um, the calculation that you see won't grab that until that due date is either put in or has been past due.
Oh, okay.
So
I
this
would
gives
just
you
want. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
this
ahead,
gives you
sir.
the ability to see, okay, this is where I am in real time as assignments are being submitted and graded. So
Okay.
that's to explain that. So yeah, does that make sense, Juan?
Yes, it does. It answers
Okay.
my question. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't that I had fell behind. I was like, whoa, it's barely
No,
my
no,
first
not
day.
on the first day. Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. In a summer class, you're already behind, but the due dates don't indicate that.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go here. I don't know how many video quizzes in here, or I'm not going to have you guys do an orientation exam, and this will be the online orientation that let us post in pronto. So basically, here is syllabus. You can take a look at that on your own end. The
Right.
only thing that I want to make sure that everybody is aware of is that this is a competency-based course. If this is the first time you've taken it, they're a little bit different than other courses, just in the sense that there's only 3 grades available. There is A, B, and F, right? So to pass this course, you need an 80% or higher to pass. All right, so
Okay.
keep that in mind going forward. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 competencies for this course. Each competency is worth 20% of your grade. All right, so
And
to get
I have a question
started,
too.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just
if
going to
you,
ask you in each competency, there's more than one post test?
yes, they're in
Okay.
parts.
Okay.
Yeah, so um, take the pretest. Don't worry about how you do on the pretest. It's not for your grade. It's, as far as I'm concerned, just a formality of competency-based courses. Take it, and then what will happen is that the post tests will open up, right? And
Okay.
so typically each competency will have anywhere from 5 to 6, 7 parts to them, right? So
Okay.
got here part 1 down to, oops, that one is um, marked wrong there, part 6. Now, keep in mind, as a
Okay.
way of making this more manageable, 2 of these post tests, and this is true for all the competencies, will be dropped from the grade. So you could approach that a couple of ways. You could do all of the post tests, and then your lowest grade will be dropped, or you can just say, well, I'm not going to do 2 of these, um, and it won't count against your grade, right? So either way, you're free to approach it either way.
And
Um,
it can be
what I
either
would say,
two of our choice?
yeah, because it's going to be the same thing either way. The
Okay.
lowest 2 will be dropped. What I would
Gotcha.
suggest, since time is limited, is to go through as many post tests as possible
Okay.
uh, until you get an 80% or a little bit higher, so you can
Sure.
move on to the next competency. You could always go back to previous competencies and either attempt an assignment for the first time or redo it. But for the sake of creating some momentum, um, just try to get to that 80% threshold, and then if you need to, you can go back by the end of the session to complete anything you need to. I will say this, there's a book, oops, I don't have a copy of it, but there's a book assigned in this course called Incidents of the Life of the Slave Girl. and each competency is going to have a set of chapters. These are
Okay.
worth more points than any of the others because they're basically anywhere from 6 to 7 or 8 chapters per playlist, and that's just one assignment. For any of these assignments that are let me just go ahead and open this up so you just see what it is. This is coming from an application called Edpuzzle. A lot of the course is based on Edpuzzle. You would just
Okay.
click here, and then a series, as you're watching or listening, because it's an audiobook, questions will come up and you'll respond to them accordingly. This is worth about 50% of the competency. This is a fascinating, disturbing book about a woman who was enslaved for much of her life. And she accounts of what happens to her family, what happens to her friends, what happens to the slave owners, and how ultimately she was able to get her freedom as well as the freedom of her children. Really intriguing story. What I would suggest is doing this one first, because anything you do on top of that will just build upon the momentum you build with these chapter sets for the book Incidents of the Life of a Slave Girl. Other than that, that's about
And
it.
and that was
just to go through,
that's a competency post test, or is that an assignment?
that's a competency post test, correct?
Gotcha.
So the other thing the other element of this course is there are chapters to read. So you click here. Oh, it should come up here. Hold on. Oh, here we go. So if it does this, I'm glad we're able to see this. Look for
Yeah.
this. This always comes up. Open in a new window, and then it comes up. So here's the chapter. Read the chapter, and then take the quiz down here, right? That's for part 1. Part 2 is an audiobook. It's embedded in
Okay.
Edpuzzle. Right. So
Right.
somebody's already done it. Excellent. And the rest of them, yeah, anytime there's a documentary, and audiobook, those are all going to be Edpuzzle. So yeah, the way to communicate with me is always through Pronto. I get these messages in real time. I don't get the messages sent here in real time,
Right.
sent here through Blackboard. So
Okay.
in most cases, students sending me a message are typically needing a response fairly quickly. So if you're wanting a response fairly quickly, Pronto is the avenue to take that, right? This message here, I check in with the course on a daily basis, but there could be some days that I don't check in for a couple of days, right?
Okay.
If I'm caught up on grading and I haven't heard students get to me through Pronto, might be a couple of days. I don't want that to happen, that you sent me a message here and I don't get it over 2 days, right?
Right.
Maybe by then it's too late, right? If you send it here, this goes straight to my phone. I get the message. I highly recommend any and all students download the Pronto app to your phone.
Yeah.
And so if there's any announcements on my end, you will get those in real time, because this is where I will predominantly post announcements to the class as well.
Okay.
If you do message me on Pronto and 24 hours goes by, or just a day, whatever, right? 12, 14 to 24 hours. Something went wrong, right? Either I meant to get back to you and just didn't, or I got a lot of messages, which shouldn't happen this summer. I'm only teaching for at least a couple of weeks, only one class. When June happens, I'll be teaching a few more classes, but that does happen where I get a bunch of messages and yours gets lost in the shuffle, or it's technology, and sometimes technology fails, right?
Okay. Yep.
So don't think you're being rude or pushy. If you're trying to get a hold of me and a day has gone by, you could just simply send me a reminder. Hey, I have this question. I haven't heard back from you, and I will get back to you promptly. I usually get back to students within the day, though, if not soon. And speaking of technology failing, right, that is one of the crucial elements of why you want to start the course early. You don't want to leave your success to chance, right?
Right.
So come in swinging, right? It's There are no due dates. The course is entirely open right now. I do have some updates to do. So you notice here 3, 4, and 5 are hidden. I need to update
Right.
some things there, but within a few days, these will all be open, except that they are on what's referred to as release conditions, meaning that you have to earn an 80% or higher for competency 1, for competency 2 to open, so on and
Okay.
so forth till the end of the course. But as long as you have the 80%, you can move on to the course. So take advantage of that. I've had some students finish the course within just a couple of weeks. If you need to take your time with it, do take your time with it. But be sure you're going at a steady pace. It's especially for online classes, it's very helpful to sit down, to take about 10, 15 minutes, look over your schedule, work, family, hobbies, church, volunteer, whatever, right? Stuff with kids. And then find where you have opportunities of 1 to 2 hours at a time and plug those in and make them consistent. You don't want to say to yourself, well, I don't feel like doing my history work right now. Maybe tomorrow, I'm just tired, right? You don't want to rely on motivation. You want to rely on discipline, right? So you want to be disciplined, have a consistent schedule that you don't deviate from. In other words, it's as if you are coming to campus, right? So whatever it works for you, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays from 9 to midnight, right? A lot of students, you guys are busy, and so your hours are typically late. I get lots of messages over the night.
Sure.
And do message me. So if you have a question at 3 in the morning, you don't need to apologize, right? I turn my phone off when I go to bed, and so you're not going to bother me. So, but if you're working, you have a busy schedule, and your only opportunity is to work in the middle of the night, and you have a
Yeah.
question, you realize, well, if I wait until the morning to answer this question, I'm going to forget about it. So go ahead and answer your question. I'll get back to you when I'm back online in the morning. Other than
Okay.
that, Juan, do you have any other questions or just need for clarification anywhere?
Nope. You answered all of it.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, this should be processed pretty soon, so you can refer to it for future reference. But for sure, reach out to me on Pronto like you have been when any questions come up or you just need some clarification on anything. Other than
All
that,
right.
get started on competency 1, and yeah, reach out to me once you do if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, Juan.
You as well. Bye.